Welcome back to another exciting episode of Nutrient Shootouts. I'm your host, OSP. Today I'm going to do a little quick calibration video on how to calibrate HM digital, though a lot of meters are the same, and just show you the quick way and a more thorough way to calibrate. First off, what I like to tell everybody to do is, of course, get yourself some pH 7 and some pH 4 calibration solution. It really doesn't matter whose you get or what you get. It always has the same ppm, and it always will calibrate. I've used a ton of different calibration solutions. First things first, make sure your probes are clean. You can take a very soft toothbrush to get any gunk that sometimes can get built up in the corners of the pH probe. Any physical media from slurry tests or anything like that can actually cause fluctuations and instability in the pH reading. So make sure you clean those tips really good first. Then what I like to do is I'll pour out a little solution that I'll discard in the end, enough to get good saturation so it'll sit down deep, of the pH 4 and the pH 7. They're usually yellow and red colored, so you know one is more alkalinic and one is more acidic. Turn on your meter. This one's 6.6. It should be calibrated, but because I'm going to do the transplant video after this, and it's going to go into the 12K, I want to make sure it's calibrated. So I'm going to put it in, and you can see that I put it into the 7, and it jumped all the way up to like 7.9, 8.0. So this one is now out of calibration. So it looks like it's stabilized at 8.0, 8.1. So on this meter, I'm going to press and hold the calibration button, which is in the center. This is HM Digital's handheld trimeter. It's temperature and TDS, but you have to switch between the TDS and pH. And then with the up and down arrows, I'm going to, while in the solution still, I'm going to bring it all the way down to pH of 7. And I'm just going to hit enter once, and it's going to flash cal, and that should calibrate. And then when that is done, it'll stop flashing and it'll say end. Now from here, I'm going to take a little bit of basically wash water. So I'm going to take a little bit of clean water just to get that water, that neutral 7, off the tip and basically cleaned, so I can get the most accurate reading when I go to the 4. So now I'll go in the 4, pH of 4, and we can see that it's dropping down. Now this should be more accurate than it was before, but it's not correct. So we'll give that just a few seconds to finish up. And it looks like this one actually, just from calibrating the top end to 7, this one went to 4. So I'm not going to change this. I'm going to go back into the cup and just wash it out real quick so it neutralizes that acidic, to keep my tip from contaminating the 7 again. I'm going to go back to the 7. See, the pH started to rise in the cup. I'm going to go back to 7, and I'm going to see if it goes back to 7. And chances are, surprisingly more often than not, get that reflection from the LED behind me, that it won't always go back to 7. But this one might, so this one might lock right on. And I always, in a lot of cases with most meters, I actually do have to calibrate more than once, especially because I use these meters like a lot, and I have a lot of meters, and I wear them out. But these trimeters from HM Digital, you can actually buy, and I'll have a link in the description, but you can buy all these parts, all the replacement probes for HM Digital, and just replace the probe part, which makes it a lot cheaper to replace these pens compared to like Blue Lab or anything. So this one did go right back to 7. So this is completely calibrated. So what I'm going to do here, as you notice, there's this little sponge in the bottom. I'm going to see if I can get that out. It doesn't really matter. I can stick my finger in there and kind of squeeze the moisture that's in there. And always store in an electrode storage solution. This is basically a deionized water and basically salt. So it's basically like a saline solution. It's a very high ppm, but it causes the pH meters to have such a high ppm and a specific pH that they don't tend to walk on you and go out of calibration so easily. So there it is. And yeah, if I hit this one and switch between pH and here we go. If I switch, yeah, see, this one is over. So I think it's over 10,000 ppm. And my scale is wrong, but I'll have to change my scale. But that's it. That's the proper storage and calibration of HM Digital's, pretty much their whole line. And most other pH probes are the same way. In a lot of cases, if your pH seems to be fairly accurate and you need a quick measurement to do something, if you think it hasn't shifted, just check that tip and a mild, very mild toothbrush to clean your pH probe so there's no debris possibly anywhere. Even a small little speck of something can actually cause a couple points of fluctuation, and it can get you through at least accurate enough where it's not going to harm the plants. I hope you like this video. Like and subscribe, and we've got the transplant video up next. Peace.